Some promises are made without words. The way someone leans forward, the way a voice softens on a single syllable, the way a pause invites you in. You can feel it even before you understand it. The door in a conversation quietly opens. And here's the paradox the book keeps returning to. The more we try to convince, the less we connect. The more we try to understand, the more people open. So let me ask you something simple and personal. When was the last time someone listened so well that you heard yourself more clearly? Tonight, let's follow that promise of attention and see where it takes us. By the end, you'll have a handful of moves you can use the next time a discussion turns delicate or a relationship turns important. Keep a mental picture of that softening voice in your mind. We'll come back to it when we close. This book is by Charles Duhigg, a journalist known for unpacking how habits shape lives and how productivity actually works in the real world. Here, he turns to communication, not as a bag of tricks, but as a deeper craft, how certain people reliably create trust, clarity, and momentum in conversations that matter. It's timely because our lives are a mess of mismatched intentions and misread signals. We text shorthand about long feelings. We debate problems when we should be soothing fears. We talk past each other. This book offers a map back to each other. The core message is this: supercommunicators don't have magic tongues. They have better navigation. They first figure out which kind of conversation they're in, practical, emotional, or social, and then they match it. They show they're listening with unmistakable signals, and they ask questions that pull people toward meaning, not just toward answers. Let's start with the first big lesson. Every conversation has a kind. Think of 3 doors. Behind the first door is a practical talk. We're trying to solve a problem, make a plan, decide what to do next. Behind the second door is an emotional talk. Someone is naming what hurts, what excites, what scares them. Behind the third door is a social or identity talk. Who are we to each other? Do I belong? Do you respect me? What story are we writing about us? Supercommunicators don't guess forever. They ask gently and early. They'll say, "Do you want ideas or do you want me to just sit with this?" Or, "Is this about what to do or how this feels or how we're seeing each other?" The minute you match the door to the room, friction lowers. If your partner is in an emotional conversation and you respond with a practical fix, you are trying to hand a wrench to someone who needs a shoulder. If a teammate wants a decision and you give them empathy only, you are hugging when they need a calendar. One small exercise. The next time someone starts telling you something important, silently ask yourself, which door are we opening? If you're unsure, ask the simplest clarifier. What would be most helpful for me right now? That single sentence can rescue an entire evening. Second lesson, loop for understanding. This isn't robotic mirroring. It's a rhythm. Ask, reflect, check. You ask a real question, the kind you don't already know the answer to. You reflect back, not everything, but the headline plus one living detail, the word they lingered on, the breath they took before the hard part. Then you ask, did I get that right? When you do this, 2 things happen. First, people relax because they don't have to fight to be seen. Second, they hear themselves with more precision. In a tense meeting, one person might say, "I feel like my work keeps getting second-guessed." Looping sounds like, "You're frustrated because your work feels questioned after you've done the heavy lift. Is that right?" If they say, "Not exactly," you adjust. If they say yes, you then have permission to ask the next question. The power is in the check. Did I get that? It signals humility and care at the same time. Try this week with someone you love and someone you work with. You'll notice how quickly heat turns into light. Third lesson, ask better questions by changing altitude. Some questions are wide. They open the horizon. What's the real question underneath this? What matters most to you about this? Others are deep. They zoom in. When did you start feeling that? What would success actually look like? Supercommunicators move between wide and deep carefully. They don't interrogate. They climb down a conversational ladder one step at a time. Imagine you're talking to a friend who wants to switch careers. A wide question. What story do you want your work to tell about you 5 years from now? A deep follow-up. What's one project this month that could be a step toward that story? The alternation keeps the talk alive. You give them space to dream, then a foothold to act. There's also a special class of questions that feel like a hand extended across a stream. What do you wish I understood that I'm probably missing? That one melts defensiveness. You're not fishing for a gotcha. You're inviting a correction with respect. Fourth lesson, show high-effort signals. In a world of low-effort communication, effort equals care. High-effort signals are the little moves that prove you're carrying weight with the other person. You pronounce their name correctly. You remember the detail they almost skipped. You show you prepared. You follow up with the thing you promised. In a tough conversation, small effort is big safety. People read effort as belonging. You matter enough for me to try. If you're leading a team, this might look like opening meetings with the short check-in question everyone answers, not as an icebreaker gimmick, but as a ritual of inclusion, and then referencing those answers later. If someone said they were anxious about a deadline, you might say, let's budget 15 extra minutes for your review, like you suggested, so you're not alone in that crunch. That's effort that lands as care. In your relationships, it can be as simple as sending a short note the next morning after a hard night. I heard you. I'm with you. Communication goes from performance to partnership. Fifth lesson, connect before you persuade. Most of us rush to change minds. We present facts, we marshal logic, and we watch people retreat deeper into their bunkers. Supercommunicators know there is a doorway you step through first. Alignment. You aligned on the goal of the conversation and on the values underneath. You might say, I want us both to feel respected and to make a plan we can actually live with. Does that match what you want? That line does 3 things. It names the shared horizon. It centers relationship and reality at once. And it quietly asks for consent to continue. Only after alignment do you trade reasons. And when you do, you make your reasoning transparent. Here's how I'm seeing it. Here's the trade-off I'm willing to accept. What am I missing? People resist less when they are invited to be co-authors. If you sense a stalemate, return to alignment. If we can't agree on X, could we agree on what we most want to protect while we figure it out? Even partial alignment is progress. Sixth lesson, match tone and tempo, then lead toward calm. There's a hidden layer in every exchange, the music under the words. Pace, volume, rhythm, posture. Supercommunicators listen to that music first. If someone is rapid and urgent, you begin closer to their speed, so they don't feel alone. And then you gradually slow the pace as you reflect and check. If someone is quiet, you let silence stretch. If someone is scattered, you summarize one sentence at a time and invite them to choose which thread to tug. This isn't mimicry, it's empathy with your whole body. And it's a gift. Because when your nervous system says, I can meet you where you are, the other person's nervous system says, then I can meet you where we're going. Seventh lesson, make hard conversations safer with structure. Before the heat rises, name your intention and ask for theirs. I want to understand what's at stake for you and see if we can leave with a plan we both trust. What do you want from this talk? Agree on a couple of rules. No interruptions for 2 minutes while each person lays out their view. Summarize the other person's view before offering your own. Park unsolved issues in a list for later. Separate impacts from intent. I believe you didn't mean to dismiss me, and the impact still hurt. Name constraints: time, budget, energy. Honor identities. I know this touches your role as a parent, and I respect that. Then move through the doors in order. Emotional first if pain is present, social next if identity is in play, last so any plan you craft will actually stick. You don't win these talks, you build something inside them. Eighth lesson, let curiosity carry the weight. Supercommunicators are not fearless, they are curious. They ask one more question instead of making one more declaration. They are willing to be changed by what they hear. Curiosity is not passive. It costs you pride and time, but it returns intimacy and accuracy. If you find yourself wanting to deliver the perfect line, try this instead. What would make this conversation feel like progress to you? Then let the answer rearrange your next sentence. Let's stitch these together with a simple story form you can reuse. You begin by asking which door we're in: practical, emotional, or social. You loop once to prove you're hearing the right song. You pose a wide question to find meaning, then a deep question to find movement. You signal effort with one concrete act. You align on goals and values before you trade reasons. You match the tempo, then slow it down. You structure the path when stakes rise. And through all of it, you keep your curiosity awake. That's the art. Now, what does this look like tomorrow morning? If a teammate drops a tense message, reply with 2 lines. I want to understand what you need here. Do you want ideas, a decision, or just a sounding board first? Then, when they respond, loop back. So the big thing is that the timeline feels unrealistic because of X. Did I catch that? If your partner comes home quiet, don't pry with 1,000 guesses. Sit near, soften your voice, and ask one generous question. What was the hardest moment of your day? And when you hear it, don't fix it. Loop it. If a family discussion is getting thorny, pause and name your hope. I want us to feel like we're on the same side. Can we try this with no interruptions for 2 minutes each? Rituals beat improvisation when emotions run high. There's also a lesson about yourself here. You can't give others what you withhold from you. If you want to be understood, practice understanding your own patterns. Which door do you default to? Are you a fixer in emotional rooms? A comforter in practical rooms? An identity defender in every room? What would it feel like to try the opposite for a day? To ask one more question when you want to argue? To show one more effort when you want to retreat? Communication is not a talent you either got or missed. It's a repeated choice to do the next generous thing with your attention. As we wrap, carry these takeaways. Conversations come in types. Match the type before you offer your gift. Listening is a loop. Ask, reflect, check. Questions are ladders. Climb down slowly from wide to deep. Effort is love in motion. Show it in small, specific ways. Alignment precedes persuasion. Co-author the goal before you trade the reasons. Bodies talk. Match tempo, then guide toward calm. Structure turns heat into light. And curiosity keeps the door open long enough for trust to walk in. If you remember nothing else, remember the first doorway. Ask someone kindly, do you want ideas, empathy, or clarity about who we are to each other right now? You'll feel the air change. So let's close the loop with that softening voice from the beginning, the one that made a promise without words. Here's your simple next step, and I'd love to hear it from you. In one sentence, what is the single question you will try in your next important conversation this week? Share that sentence in the comments. Then save this video and send it to one person you care about, the one you want to understand better, tonight. We're building a small community here of people who choose understanding over winning.
If that promise resonates, join us. The door is open.